You say that, actually, I could just see you like just thinking of this.
Hello and welcome to the Sunday Funday podcast, the official podcast for Wild Wild West Fantasy Baseball. I'm your host today, Alien Arms, Trillo Pet, Q&A Informs, Milkman, creator of the Gallon Challenge, joined alongside by our co-host today, Mr. Austin Hardly Lose and Lord Fat Meat himself. Fellas, how are we doing today?
We're doing all right.
Thanks
Awesome.
for having me.
Oh, always glad to have you boys here. All right, you know the drill. Another episode is in the books. Number 7 of the standing series. Worst to first to discuss the off-season and life outside the lines leading up to our draft less than 3 weeks from today. Today's episode of the standing series is brought to you by Topgolf. That being said, let's go ahead and introduce today's guest, Mr. Professional Golfer, Conor Taylor. Conor, how are we doing today?
Doing good. Happy to be up.
Yes, sir. It's
Ready
your time to
speak
shine.
some baseball. Yeah. So what are we starting with? The updates in life?
Yeah. We'll get you those live updates. How we doing, bro? What's going on in your life?
Pretty good. Pretty much nailed it. Topgolf. That's about all I'm doing. Weather's getting better, so I'm teaching more. Weather's getting better, so I'm playing more golf. So, someone mentioned it before, but the seasonal depression between the daylight savings times is almost gone. So rather be wilding out a little bit on the golf course per se. But here we are.
Yeah, fuck daylight savings time.
Dude, what a fucking joke! How can
Literally.
How can someone just say that's how we're doing it, and everyone agrees with it?
Thomas Jefferson did that.
Yeah, Benjamin Franklin, but close.
Oh right, yeah, you're right. Same guy, same white guy. All right, cool. We'll go ahead, jump right in, Austin.
Yeah, let's start it off. Let's talk some fantasy baseball here. Question I got for you is you went all out last year for Ohtani, and which I don't blame you whatsoever. But it does seem like it hurt you a little bit this year, getting a ton of value as a keeper, like later on in the draft. My question for you is, do you think that will hurt you this season having a first rounder as your keeper?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends how you look at it, because I'm more nervous about teams that are keeping TJ Friedel and people like that. So I don't know. I think it might be better to have a dominant keeper. But yeah, I did go all out last year. I'm not really too worried about it, mainly because I was a playoff team and I was dominating through the first go around of the cycle, and then I blew it. But I did that with Ohtani and way worse picks than I have this year. So no, it's not pitching, but I still got Ohtani, but at least a decent draft around him this year, unlike last year. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. And I have Ohtani at 10. His ADP is probably right around there this year without pitching. So I don't think I'm losing much with it.
Did you ever consider just trading? I know you had the 3 pick to start.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider just trading up to the 2 spot? Because I think Dawson, no matter what, was going to take Acuna and just drafting him at 2 and keeping somebody else.
Yeah, I really thought about just keeping him at 3 even, but Coach kind of scared me at 2 because I moved before him. And Coach is kind of the long-term guy, so he's someone who would probably take Ohtani at 2, even if it's worse this year for the long-term gain. And but really, it's just kind of the way my team worked out too. When Dominguez and Ronnie, my 2 other keeper options, really tore their ACL and got Tommy John, I didn't really have many options. So
I think if you weren't No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying I wanted Ohtani. So if I had a really good backup plan, I would probably risk it more and keep Dominguez and try to get Ohtani at 3 or something. But with that not being an option, it's not worth keeping Tariq Skubal and maybe losing Ohtani for that.
Right. I think you making that trade with Nicky so early honestly probably helped me get the 2 spot from Michael, because I don't think he would have traded it until you traded the 3 away.
Yeah, I kind of
knowing he couldn't get Ohtani.
Yeah, I think he just wanted Otani too, so it definitely changed everything after that. And me and Nick talked about that well before draft pick was open, so it was a pretty done deal. I tried for like 10 seconds with Carlin, but I couldn't muster up the calmness to deal with him longer, so I gave up on that and then just went ahead and accepted the Nick one to get it done with.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of I have a two-part question.
All right.
It kind of piggybacks a little bit on what Austin just said. I just want you to get a little bit more into how last year you were deemed to have such awful picks, bad draft pick trades, the list goes on.
Yeah.
But then still had a fairly successful year. I mean, I wouldn't say it was extremely successful by your standards, but just wanted you to elaborate a little bit more on that. That's the first part.
Yeah. First part, yeah. I mean, and the kind of the thing with that trade with Brock was that was like pretty late. That was pretty close to draft day. Like it was definitely either this point or later, closer to the date. So I made a lot of trades before that, and I was like in a better place. I guess I don't know, like if that makes sense. But I kind of knew I wanted to make a run for it. So the trades before that set me up to make a deal like that. Like it's not like I gave up my 2, 3, 4, 5 rounders right off the bat when I didn't have anything else lined up. So I already had some like deeper coverage than I think people gave me credit for. They just, obviously if you just look at that one trade, I was going to be screwed, but I had more help in the 80s and 90s that weren't involved in that pick that helped a lot. And then, yeah, I went for it last year. I mean, my draft picks, I don't think I had anyone over the age of 23, so I knew I needed to hit some home runs or like get some Bryson Stott for like how crazy he was for half the year, and a few other guys. S2E7 that I won. Ruiz like single-handedly won me the first half of the year just because steals alone. I would win 5-4-1, and that would be the tiebreaker. So I definitely got lucky with some youngsters and that was the game plan. If they were all bust, then it's a keeper league, so I was willing to. I wanted Otani, so I was willing to risk it. I kind of got lucky with it, and it was definitely a fluke. It was more of a fluke that I was winning halfway through the year than what happened the second half of the year where I backslid a little bit. So I think I'm pretty happy with 6th place in the playoff contention, and wasn't healthy in the playoffs, but I was happy getting to the playoffs last year, and this is the year I have higher standards, I guess. Especially because Otani's just raking in spring training.
That he is. And quick second part. I heard you mention it on the intro. Also, I think maybe a day or two ago in the group, you said you were happy to be on the pod.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have something specific you wanted to say, or just kind of?
No, I think I was just getting
Happy to be
slandered
here.
a little bit. I'm just happy to be here. Happy to have my own voice on it. I feel like hearing the bottom half of last year talk, they're not going to call out Dawson. They're not going to call out Coates in the top half. So if they're going to say they're going to be a playoff team this year, then I'm kind of always going to be the one that gets bumped out of it. So, I mean, Austin's podcast, he gave 7 people. Carlin named who he was going to take out of the playoffs. Same with the other ones. So I just felt like I was getting bumped out of the playoffs a little too often. So I wanted to be on the pod and be able to have my own list come out at some point. So yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Connor.
And I wasn't getting any bottom 3s or top 3s. So I was just kind of just irrelevant to me.
It was kind of sitting in the middle.
So yeah, I just wanted to be involved.
Hey, at least you weren't bottom 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I had
could be
you.
worse.
At least we don't have to exclude
did.
you from the
Yeah.
bottom 3.
Right.
I had you in my top 3.
You did, yeah.
That was somewhat accurate, right?
Yeah. No, you were right. You were questioning it. It took you a long time to realize it, but you were right, yeah, with all your statements. That was a good call.
I usually am.
Yeah,
Most of the time.
most of the time.
All right, so I think I honestly didn't plan a question again. I just
Love
off the
that.
spot. I'm on the fly kind of guy. I think this is a question that's gonna, be pretty popular with everybody. Connor, what are you doing for draft? Are you going closers? Did you abandon it? Are you planning on going with the 2031 All Stars again? I just want to hear
Yeah.
it because everybody wants to know because Chuck's freaking out. Chuck's going for closers. We don't know what he's doing.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I'm a lot happier now where I'm at after making the trade with Chuck and getting out of the 50s. The original plan was definitely to go all closers. There's no denying that. But Chuck obviously was in the rumor with it, and now I thought Nick might keep Diaz, and then wasn't thinking about Carlin keeping Devin Williams. Allen, you're gonna get a closer. Like at 51 or somewhere, you might not grab the whole team's worth, but you're gonna get a top end closer. You always have. So I didn't like being in the 50s and like being forced to make that decision. So I feel like it's a little too early for closer value. So if Chuck wants to send it all out and go for 8 closers, I'll scoop up the people that kind of fell down the list. And if Chuck only goes a couple closers and Nick keeps Perez and some other things happens, I can still swoop up some closers in 70. But I'm gonna let Chuck lead that decision because I can't get in the bidding war in the 50s for closers. They're not that good. They're not worth it. So I like sitting back and seeing how it plays out.
I feel it.
I feel like this year will be the first year we really notice. I don't know. I feel like we're gonna have a lot of live draft trades for some reason. I think stuff's gonna happen in the draft at some point in the draft. Even early on, like there could be a lot of movement, just depending on if Nicky tries to take somebody else as a keeper. But I just feel like I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of live draft pick trades this year.
I feel like there's 2 big sides people are doing trades, like people that went early on and people that moved back far. So I think if it doesn't play out and like people start to panic, then they're like people are gonna abandon shit. Like you said, me, Chuck, Coates, like we're all kind of in that same range. So if something doesn't go the way I love it, I'll even deal farther back and try again later. But I'm a little freaked out about the whole keeper vibe, so I didn't want to be too involved with it early on. So I'm gonna let it play out and get a little hectic, and then jump in later on with it.
All right. Well, that settles that. Conor is pivoting away from the closers.
Pivoting, yes.
Pivoting
Great
away
word.
from the closers. I mean, yeah, I like getting closers for sure.
Yeah.
Last year went 45, 46. Took
Yeah,
two of the top
that's
options.
That's what that was a main thing for. And I feel like even you win all closers once before.
I transitioned last year after All-Star.
So
no one drafted all closers at the draft last year.
But that's why I think it worked so well for Coates when he went all closers, because he was the only one. But like I don't think it can work with 2 or 3 people. I feel like you're pot committed at that point, and you can screw yourself if me and Chuck and Allen all go closers in the 50s or whatever. So
I think it's funny that Carlin only took him about 2 or 3 days to decide that he's not keeping Devin Williams now again.
Literally like an hour.
I didn't even know that.
Wait, did he actually say that?
Yeah,
he traded away the pick. So
he doesn't have the pick anymore.
No, he traded it back to Grant.
What a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
dude.
Jesus. So is it the bum Lopez again? Pablo? Jesus.
He said he was a top 7 pitcher today.
For who? Minnesota?
Right? Honestly, maybe.
I was like, he's good in a
I think he's like a top 12, but he's not top 7.
I told him like closer to 15 is what I said, but anyways, so Sneet's question, we almost touched on it briefly. We kind of just skimmed over it. Someone sitting in this very room had said 4 non-Sneetches are going to make the playoffs this year. You're in the Sneetches. You were called out. I know you mentioned a little bit, but I just want you to elaborate a little bit more on that. Just overall, you personally, and how you feel overall of only 3 Sneetches making the playoffs.
Yeah, that's wild. But again, I get it, right? If someone's not in the playoffs and they make the playoffs, someone has to be out of the playoffs. Like, I get the logic behind it. But yeah, that was a wild one. Especially, I don't know. And it's kind of my bold predictions, but I feel like I wouldn't just be the first Sneech that would be kicked out of that list. You got Henry there. Coates, he's my bold prediction coming up, but I mean, he was fighting for his life for like 80% of the week last year and then got hot. So, I mean, I think Dawson earned the respect just by who his squad is. But, yeah, I feel like I'm higher up in the Sneech than I get Nick. You missed the playoffs. All due respect. I've never missed the playoffs. Actually, that was funny when Coach fact checked me. I guess I have missed the playoffs before, so that's wild. But, yeah, I just still think we're at a point where we're more experienced. I think there's going to be a pretty five Sneech playoff next year. Pretty confidently with that.
How many were in it last year? How many were in it last year? 4?
Well, we had Chuck in the Sneech, so he's kind of ruining our percentages. But yeah, Nick and Chuck were the two that missed. So we had 4
Chuck
out of 6.
was like really kicked halfway through the year.
Yeah. So I mean, we like to keep it 80% or above.
But it was a bold prediction. Let's not act like it was like a fact. I was saying.
And if 4 out of 5,
I was just saying,
make it,
yeah,
like you can say you were only off by 1,
mm-hmm.
and it's like, well, okay, but like,
and it wasn't just you. You got called out on it, but I mean, every single person.
Yeah.
In the pods has made a "fuck the Sneeches" comment, if we're quoting.
Yeah, fuck the Sneeches.
Alan Orms, Chuck Johnson, the rest of the old Sneeches. You know, it's crazy that once you're no longer a Sneech, you have so much animosity towards us. But I didn't hear any of that when they were in the message. You know, Chuck can claim he didn't say much, but I mean, we have the receipts. You know, he was in there. Right. He was a member. He was fighting there. Alan did leave on his own accord, but
yeah,
it's kind of the same situation. He was getting booted before the next season anyway. So like,
I don't care.
It's kind of a false claim to say you left on your own accord when you're getting voted off anyways, you know? So I think the Sneech hate from old Sneeches is ridiculous on it. And Austin and people that aren't Sneeches, I think if they earn an invite, every single one's accepting it. So let's stop with the Sneech hate at that point.
Stop the cap. Fuck the Sneeches.
I'm glad you touched on that because it's been lonely being the only Sneech that had gone already. It had been only other non-Sneeches, and I'm not used to this. I don't like doing it.
It's like talking to a brick wall with Chuck and Allen on the pod together. Like, my God, they're just
they're
the
firing
fascists,
away.
You know? Yeah, we're the liberals. We're the good guys out here.
I hate that, man.
Firing away at fuck the Sneeches. Like, God damn, I was outnumbered.
Yeah, I think you know, we're gonna be obviously top heavy again, and the next 5 podcasts we can be happy listening to. So
guess what?
That's always a good sign. Fuck the Sneeches, I know.
I'm gonna sandwich myself between you guys. Call me Secret Hitler.
Incredible. Yeah. Alan, do you want to do the top 3, bottom 3? I mean, you came up with it, and I could finish it off. Or do you want...
Honestly, Connor, stop me if we've done this before. I think we have. I think we did this last year for you. So, top 3, bottom 3, caddies for you on the course.
That's a little curveball. Yeah.
Did we not do that last year?
No, I think we just did top 3, bottom 3, like scramble partners or something.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. So little curveball in it. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Minus
top
Carlin. 3.
Minus Carlin.
Minus Carlin, of course. I might just jump around a little bit. Bottom 3. Colton will probably be bottom 3. I don't like his energy on the I don't think I would. In a stressful situation, I don't think he would be the best person by my side. He would probably just start saying, "What the fuck are you doing? Play better." You know, I don't need that in my life. Henry, I don't trust with yardages or to read the book properly. So he's probably bottom 3 too. I feel like, 90% success rate isn't good enough as a caddy. If you're off 10% of the time, we're going to be pretty fucked. So I'll also put him bottom 3.
That's a whole club.
Exactly. Top 3. Coates probably be top 3, mainly just because of the laid back vibe. I feel like he wouldn't. He would be a good caddy. You know, you can't be the most vocal, aggressive guy in the 2-man. You're the B player, so I feel like Coates would be good at just being whatever I need him for it. Allen. I'm going to go Allen because he's probably my biggest hype man in the group with my golf abilities. I really respect it, especially, you know, he knows me and Spencer both, but he gives me all the hype, so I really appreciate that. And the caddies I've had on tour have always just told me I'm great, and I believe it. So we're a fake it till you make it type squad, so Allen's going to be up there.
Love that.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, Conor, you're better than Spencer.
Hey, you heard it on the pod right here, guys. Let's get that.
I'm going to clip this and send it to Spencer, too.
Love that. Damn, so I need one more each. Nick would be a good top 3. Again, he's a calm vibe on the golf course. Might be recency bias because we just play together. Also with Colton bottom 3, if he tells stories like he does when he's playing, I'll have no concentration at all on the golf course. So that just is reaffirming me there. My other bottom 3, I'll probably just go Chuck because he doesn't care about shit. And like, if I'm in a tournament, I need someone to like care and try a little bit. So I'm really just over his attitude. So I probably wouldn't put up with that one. So I'd go Nick, Coates, Allen, top 3, and then Colton, Henry, Chuck, bottom 3.
Nice. I like
Brock,
that.
you're not bottom
funny.
3. Congrats, buddy. I wasn't going to do it no matter what the question was. Brock was not going in my bottom 3.
All right, I have a quick question. If you had the
All
choice, would you include Carlin in your top or your bottom 3?
As a caddy,
Mm-hmm.
he would be bottom 3.
All
sure.
right, just wanted to double
Yeah.
check.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, he's bottom 3. He's getting booted before the plane takes it. I'm gonna push cart it out there solo dolo. Yeah.
All right. Well, as Alan always says, rounding third and heading home. Let's do the last 2 little questions here. Let's start with your bold prediction for this 2024 season.
Yeah, and again, they're not really too bold. I know no one's gone crazy with their predictions. It's kind of bold based on the other ones, but again, I think 5 Snooches are in the playoffs. I don't know how, and Dawson might not even know it yet, but I think Dawson keeps Bobby Witt. Again, that might not be his plan now. Maybe Ellie gets hurt. Maybe it's just a God's way, but I don't think Bobby Witt sees the draft this year. And I think that really screws over Chuck Johnson, which leads me to, I mean, Chuck is the favorite for last place. I think if he's keeping TJ Friedel and not getting Bobby Witt or Jose, like he's out. He's toasted. So, and it's kind of contradictory to what Austin said, but I think, you know, Graham, Coates, Chuck, maybe Allen. I don't know who you're keeping, Allen. But I think the guys are keeping, like, the late round keepers that, you know, aren't a top 10, top 20 type pick. I think they're really going to struggle with the keepers first off the bat. So, like, you know, anyone that's keeping someone that's not like a ADP that's pretty high or really worth it, I think it's more about how good the player is based off how much value you're saving to a point with baseball. You know, it would probably be different with basketball or smaller teams, but I think you can steal one pretty dominantly there. So that's my other hot take. I think Cutts, you know, will fight for his life and get a 6 or 7 seed. Graham, Chuck, Carlin keeping fucking Pablo, like all these guys are gonna really struggle and miss the playoffs. So yeah, I think the keepers play a massive role. I think whoever has the best keepers is going to be the best teams. So those are my bold predictions.
Who are you keeping, Austin?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm out of all the keeper situations because it doesn't affect me. You're a little different though because you have, I mean, Jose, or Julio almost has a keeper because you got the 2 pick. So
right.
I mean, that's a little different with it. But like if Coates trades
keeper I
back
wanted
at 8,
to keep doesn't even have a team right now.
Yeah. Snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like Coates, if he trades out of 8 and keeps Casas, who's like, he's good, but like fuck, you hit like 180 for 75% of the year. Like, I mean, I feel like that's a tough hole to climb out of if you have no dominant player with keepers set up the way they are.
Stop saying his name.
Tristan Costas is an F word.
All right. Well, do you want to keep yourself accountable for anything?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm a playoff team. I'm glad no one brought up my recent playoff records because I haven't won a playoff game in like 3 years, so that's tough.
Yeah, we were
I'm
supposed
gonna
to do that.
I'm gonna be a playoff team again. If I miss playoffs, I'm gonna take the winner and the runner-up out to Valhalla, and I'm gonna pay for the round of golf. Yeah, so that's a big one. If it's Brock, who doesn't play golf, Carlin, who we probably don't want to spend a day with out of Valhalla, or even like Henry or someone that doesn't want to play a round of golf, they can either A, auction off the round to another league member and just pocket the cash, or B, I'll put a $200 futures bet on next year's MLB season and we'll split whatever the profit is on it. It's a other option. So I'm pretty much backing off Nick, but I mean, all I do is golf and gamble, so I'm really handcuffed with my options.
Hey, I feel like those are really good.
Yeah. I feel like
only
the
other
3 people you just
is you have to be able to find a time in 2024. So the season ends when into August. Like we got a September, so September, October, November, we got to get the round in. That's the only contingency I got with it.
I feel like the 3 people you named, Carlin, Brock, and Henry, would be the perfect 3 to just take the Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, but if like Nick
I'll let
comes
you figure out why.
If it's like Nick and Henry doesn't want it, it'd be cool for you or someone to pay $100, get a discounted round of Valhalla and play, and then Henry just pockets 100. So there's a possibility.
We should do a silent auction. So like everyone just puts their bid in, and no one knows what the other person bid.
Yeah,
I like give me 100.
I don't think Henry, Brock, I don't think Henry and Carlin are making the championship anyway, so we might not have to worry about that. Brock, Corey Carroll's clutch, but I got $200 to come in DFL, so I mean I'm not going to give you any type of credit. And I'll end with that bet just to clear the air. It was just phenomenal odds. He gave me like 20-1, and there's only 12 teams in the league, so that's an over.
Yeah.
I would have taken that with any.
I was literally about to type it when you accepted it.
I mean, I can't. I'd take that bet with all other 10 league members and just pocket that 8-1 win right now if people want to do it. So it was just pure science on that one. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. That's good. Alan, you got anything else?
Did you write those down, Austin?
Huh?
Did you write those accountability checks down?
Yeah, I got them all down.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
There's some good ones. No, he probably will.
Oh, my bad. I clicked mute. No, Connor, you killed it. You killed it, bro. I don't have anything else. Unless you
Alan,
guys
have
anything.
Would you accept the Valhalla round?
Oh, absolutely, dude. That's
yeah. Dude, I even think like Graham would take it too. So I think.
Oh, dude.
100%.
Me, you, Graham, and Dawson were the greatest golfers on earth.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, absolutely. Our scramble. I thought you were going to ask a scramble team question. I was just going to pick you.
That would be so funny of a combo of you, Connor, Alan, and Graham at Valhalla.
Yeah.
And the caddies are just like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Foreshadowing.
Just 12 blunt. No, edit that out. That's it for me. If y'all don't have anything else, then boys.
Well, actually, you kind of brought it up. Do you want to briefly say something about you not winning a playoff game in 3 or 4 years?
Yeah. I don't care. I'm not going to do anything different. Last year, I screwed myself. I should have just played a regular season and tried to get the dub, but I was in such a good place halfway through the year. I fucking sat on Ronnie Moratino in my starting lineup for 9 weeks and lost 9 straight weeks. So I don't care about the playoffs. I'm gonna just try to win the reg season and go from there. I feel like I overcompensated this last year, and I'm not going to do that again.
You heard it here first. Conor does not care about the playoffs.
Call me a fraud.
I'm rubbing off on everybody. Well, all right, that'll do it.
All right.
Connor,
See you,
Nick,
boys.
Hardley,
Have a good one.
peace and blessings.
Sure.
Maybe I'll
Yes,
dust
sir.
off the box and see if I have any updates tonight.
Uh-oh.
Hop on a rocket right now. Bet you won't.
Thanks. All right. I'll see y'all.
Later.
All right.
See ya.